the horses are now nearing the starting gate. And they're off. As the field comes into the stretch.
Hello, racing fans, and welcome to Aqueduct. Sunny skies on this Thursday here at the Big A. Temperature will approach 40 degrees. Right now, the main track is good, and it is harrowed. And we have changes in today's first and second races only. In the first race, scratch the 5, Me and Sap. Scratch number 5. An equipment change for the 6, Not Far Now. He'll run with blinkers on. Blinkers on, number 6. Second race, couple of scratches. Scratch 1, Playwright, part of an entry. And scratch 5, This Cat Can Fly. Second race, scratch numbers 1 and 5. And that is it for today's 8-race card. There are no changes to report in races 3 through 8. Once again, the main track is good, and it is harrowed. We'll be back at 12:50 to recap the changes. Today's first race post is at 1:20. Up next, Serling and Stabile, and they are Talking Horses.
good afternoon. It's good afternoon now.
I can't. I would have lost. I was. I was going to bet somebody else on lunch.
Yeah.
First
Don't worry,
one.
there'll be others. He's Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Surley, and good afternoon. The post time 1:20 today. Tomorrow it's 1 o'clock on Saturday, and presumably Sunday as well.
Is it 1? Oh, it's 1, not 12:50.
It's 1, and we will start at 11.
Those are good signs.
11:40.
11:40. Those are good signs. That means.
I slept more this morning.
That means the more sunlight. Spring's on the way.
They wait with the sunlight until we change the post.
Did you catch that Punxsutawney Phil won his debut on Groundhog's Day over in England? $10. The first race of the day at like $10.
Wow. You'd have been all over.
They knew. They knew. It was Groundhog's Day.
I don't know. They know. We could have paid a bigger price.
Knew.
I don't know.
Probably should have been 50 to 1.
I guess so. Every day is Groundhog's Day now, and I think a lot of people would
agree
with us. We're living in Groundhog Day, the movie, for the last 11 months. So,
You're not kidding, man.
So I think everybody can relate to that. Anyhow, you need to head over to Naira Bets. If you are not a member of Naira Bets, no better time than the present. Keep the money in the game. Sport racing in New York. Play through Naira Bets. We'll match up to $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code MATCH200. Also, the Saturday contests are back. $300 buy-in, all cash prizes. Register now. You have until Friday at 5 p.m. $300. There's also a thing on the Naira website listing all the big contests this year.
I was going to say
there's a bigger one for Gotham Day. There's 5 or 6 of them during the course of the year, but check those out. Go to the Naira website and check that stuff out as well. But these contests are all good fun, all cash prizes. Also want to remind people that we have extended this at least through February, if not longer. 100% payout every day a mandatory payout. No carryovers. We pay out in full every day on the Naira.com, the Empire 6. I believe there's
5 out of 6 one day, right?
Yeah, but also I believe that there's going to be no CAW play in that pool going forward. I think they announced that yesterday. That was a discussion yesterday.
Beautiful.
Pat McKenna was on Steve Bick talking about that, I believe.
Okay. Saw Pat this morning.
Did you? Must have been exciting for him.
He was telling me about how he was listening to a podcast that involved the 2017 Astros. And I pondered if our Charlie Morton harassment has been going on for that long.
So he's still complaining about the Yankees losing 4 years later?
It's unbelievable, isn't it? They
it's just sad.
They cling. It's like Rose clinging to the door in the Atlantic on the Titanic.
It's tragic. The poor guy's life is so meaningless. He's still worried about Yankees losing.
You said that. I didn't, man.
He was the guy who was sitting next to, wasn't he sitting next to who's the model who's married to somebody on the Astros? Sitting next to her at the Yankee game. He was on TV. I saw him.
Kate Upton?
Yeah. Don't you remember you were sitting right by her?
I have my own issues with
Oh, that's
Kate
right.
Upton.
She was Kate Upton was disrespectful with the big A.
Yeah. So
You and Kate haven't made up since then?
No, we're going on 2 years. I renounced my fanship and everything. Yeah, no. Now if she sees me,
she's called, she's written,
now if she sees me,
just not.
I won't take a selfie with her. I would let her in a booth. She could have watched me call one. None of it now. Done.
So Carl Broberg's allowed to come in the studio and watch races, but Kate Upton, you're out.
You're out, Tom.
Anthony has his priorities in order.
Exactly.
Race number 1 lost a major player when the big-time second choice, I assume Ian Sapp, came out. And we'll look at Not Far now. And this is 3 races back, actually. And listen, things haven't gone well. You got the muddy track, but then didn't run particularly well last time. But the reality is, even not running well, this horse just overlays the field and is a very likely winner. I'll show you a stat for Linda that's sort of meaningless because of the scratch, and the horse is ridiculously low odds. Not that she wasn't going to be a low price. He wasn't going to be a low price anyway. But I mean, at the end of the day, the only way you're picking against Not Far now, and fine if somebody wants to bet against this horse or against this horse, is that you just believe the horse is going to completely fail to show up.
Yep.
Because if he shows up in any respect, boy, he's found the right group.
Right. More often than not, if you want to bet against these droppers, it's because you believe, I feel anyway.
Yeah, you don't like somebody else, you don't like this horse, which is fine.
And that's fine.
Because they do lose, these horses.
But the fact of the matter is this horse can run really any of his last 3 races. And in all likelihood win this race.
I have a question.
Sure.
One thing, and I know it's February, I'm not. Linda never got a chance to run this horse in the turf. And with the damn Kibosh, an American Pharoah, you would think this is a horse that could possibly, be a turf horse. And I think if somebody claims this horse, that has to be a little bit in the back of their mind. Is that fair?
I'll say 2 things. I don't think it's if. I think this horse is going to get claimed today.
Somebody claimed Democratic values.
Somebody claimed Democratic values. You're going to lose your best. You're in all likelihood going. That just doesn't hit the same anymore. I told you. This horse is likely going to win today, and he's going to lose one of his best friends.
Yeah,
which is
the maiden condition.
The maiden condition,
Right.
which is a little bit of a concern.
Well, absolutely. He has more expected value as a racehorse right now than he probably will, in 2 hours. He will, and his expected value will change because if he loses this race, I'm not sure.
He's in theory worth half of what he's getting claimed for. And if you add into the fact that it's a state-bred race, I don't even know what it does to that algorithm.
Here's one for you. If you claim this horse, are you trying him in a non-winners of one without the tag or a starter? But if not that, are you waiting for the turf to run the horse in non-winners of one on the turf at Aqueduct in April?
See, great question. Make a great point. While
I'm on top of my game in a few days off.
Exactly. While you
Did a lot during those 3 days.
While he loses his best friend, he does gain the starter option, which is pretty lucrative around here.
Agreed.
So it's kind of a free shot at the 55 or 60,000,
and that's why they
still have the state-bred conditions left.
And that's why they're a better claim than you might think normally.
Correct.
Because they have that option of going back.
Well, you see some of the horses claimed around here, and it's hard for me to imagine this horse not having a new home in about 2 hours.
Horses and claims surprise us sometimes, but I completely agree with you on that. Race number 2, you lost one half of the entry, but I mean, I know Hardcore Folklore is funny. As horse you and I have sort of argued about back and forth at different times. Hasn't he just found the right field today?
He may have. He may have. I, of course, jump on Mills now that he's gone. I mean, I just think he's that last race bothers me, Andy. I'm willing to forgive the race 2 back and on the muddy track.
One thing I'll say about his last race, it was a race where the pace completely held together.
Yep.
Nobody made up any ground in that race. By the way, as we turn to Mills, the 11-year-old, and he's just such a cool story. I'm not taking a definitive stance. One of these 2 horses is going to win. And I think Hardcore Folklore will probably win, but I'm not going to be surprised when Mills wins. I think one of these 2 horses is going to win. And I'm not taking a strong stance.
I could say the same thing the other way.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. The one thing Hardcore Folklore does have when he shows up is much more speed than Mills has, and maybe that helps him today. You have Kanpai in there who figures to set the pace. I'm also curious to see what Classy Papa does. He's shown some speed in the past. No, I went on my papa. This is Classy Papa.
That one you were wrong about.
I don't know.
Couldn't understand Tom Morley. Yeah. Who can?
Right, exactly. Are we even sure I was
Who
wrong?
wants to?
Yeah. So, I mean,
I know Maggie doesn't.
They have a little. It was their baby Willow's first birthday yesterday.
Nice.
Yep. Happy belated birthday to Willow. It's
only been a year?
It's a year. Amazing, right? She was a week late, too.
It's been a long year.
Yeah.
She's lucky she was a baby for this year.
Yes. It's been a long year.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, we could sit here and pontificate the difference between these 2 horses. One of them's probably going to win. If somebody else wins, it's an upset. If the start of this pick 5 isn't 6 with 1 and 6, either way, it's going to blow up pick 5. If they all lose, forget about it. I hope you're alive.
If it doesn't come in 6 and then 1 or 6, there can't be 10% of the tickets alive.
Well, forget it. 10%.
Right.
2%. 1%. Race number 3. I guess the winner kind of rates to be, but one of the inside 2 will take a look at Chase and Bryn and Cousin Basil last time out, losing to Big Benny's Tribute. And I know you thought Big Benny's Tribute was a lock, and she did win. She was life and death to win this race. I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical.
Well,
I know it's a big fig. I'm a little skeptical.
I think you're going to take one of 2 views here. You're going to be skeptical, or you're going to think like I thought in here, and it's just kind of moving the chains. Right? Big Benny's Tribute finished 2nd to Customer Experience. Chase and Bryn finished 3rd. They came back when Customer Experience was out of the starter condition. They ran 1-2. Now, is it as simple as just moving the chains? Maybe. I seem to think so more than you. I got to put a little Randy Prasad in there because those horses are all still running a little bit.
One of them did.
Yeah, well,
one of them.
No, I don't think so.
No, one of them did.
Yeah. Well, Tale of Mist came back and won.
He won. He's the one.
And then
who's the other?
One of the other ones run 3rd.
So what?
It was a bad 3rd, I guess.
They run 3rd all the time.
But I mean, I seem to think it's a little bit more of of an assembly line, if you will. Like, all right, out of the condition, who's up next?
Yeah,
because that's kind of how it's been this winter.
You see racing in a very different way than I do, and I don't have an argument. Chasen Bryn is the horse to beat in this race. I wonder where that race came from when you look at Cousin Basil, because Cousin Basil on the lead, involved in the pace, ran 10 to 15 points faster than she ever runs. So it brings the question now, the figure's okay for Chasen Bryn, who has that 80 with that ridiculous blowout win and actually came back with a decent enough effort in her subsequent start. So she's more reliable. But I think that Cousin Basil getting that big fig makes the race a little bit questionable. Now, I don't like Halo City, who's been beating weaker fields. Not impossible. You're ridiculous with the 4.
Back quick as well with Halo City.
New York Rockstar is an interesting horse. I know we've talked about Jamie Ness and some lack of success. I think it's important to look, because this was one where the chart callers missed some significant trouble. The rider is trying to run through the inside. It's Trevor McCarthy, and he has a bit of a hole, but that horse comes over and just completely eliminates her while she's trying to make her rally. Now, in fairness, the rail was very good this day. So she was on the best part of the racetrack, and it helped out her chances. But the reality was she was badly compromised by that in a race that was dominated up front anyway, and she was compromised. And I think she's kind of an interesting horse because she's got some figures, albeit out of town, that put her in the ball game. She draws outside, and to me, she's the only one I would take to try to beat the one because she's a bit of a fuzzy, and she is coming off a real legitimate trip.
Trevor McCarthy actually claimed foul in that race, despite beating the horse that bothered him
He
by
may have
5
been right.
lengths.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think he thought
Trevor?
it was. I think he thought it was 4 into 6 into 1, where it was really just 6 into 1. He beat the 6 by a pole, and I guess the 4 beat him a couple of lengths. I remember I was in a booth that day. I remember the inquiry, saying to myself, "This is a curious one. He beat the horse by 5 lengths."
Oh.
Remember this?
Well, there was an inquiry. I thought it involved the second and third horses.
No, he claimed on the second, whoever with the 4. And I wasn't.
Claimed the second horse, not realizing there was a different horse.
Well, he thought the 4 came into the 6 into the 1, but it was more. It was him into the 6 into
Gotcha.
him. So.
Oh, I got you. Now
yeah.
I got you. Okay. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, I guess, but you bring up the Ness thing now.
Yeah, but the horse is a decent price, so I don't care about that.
Yeah, and you can look at it 2 ways. Ness has run 3 horses here.
They've actually run okay.
That one with trouble ran 4th. The other 2 at the board. So.
Right. I don't think his horses are running that badly, to be honest. They just haven't won. They've underperformed a little bit, but this horse won't be that short.
No.
Race number 4, when we kick off the pick 5. And
that, of course, kicked off the pick
Empire 6, mandatory payout. This race gave me a gigantic headache. And we'll start by looking at Social Group's win. And obviously, he can win this race. But you talk about finding the right field. I mean, this guy found, Lorenzen was 3rd in this race.
We joked about it the day he won. Rudy Rodriguez, his trainer, couldn't have went to the backside and picked 5 rivals. He couldn't have picked an easier field if he tried to. He really couldn't have. And
I'm not really sure this horse did any running in there. He just won because he was better than the horse he ran against.
Just better than the horse he ran against.
He can win back, but, you know, I searched through. I get that you have the 6 first line on top, and I'll let you talk about him. I just don't know if this horse can run at all.
I'll tell you another thing. You're not wrong about that. I'll tell you what. I'd like to see how much moisture's in this track, because if there's any kind of significant, I don't want him. I really don't. I didn't know if
I ran better 3 back than he ran last time.
Yeah, but you know what? And that leads me to believe it could have been the blinkers, because I could see if he runs poorly on the wet track to say, all right, you know what,
maybe it's just he can't run anymore.
And he could just
this horse has some serious physical issues.
He could just not run.
Well-known physical issues.
He could just not run anymore. That could absolutely, positively be the case.
I mean, you're looking at wet tracks and blinkers. Why don't you just take the fact that he just
might
can't
not be able to
run
anymore.
anymore?
He might not.
And
Listen.
again, the other thing is, isn't Social Group going to have speed? Isn't it possible that Amistad is supposed to show speed from the outside? What's Dylan going to rate him?
But isn't he just, the good version of him's faster, isn't
I don't
he?
see Vargas not going with Social Group. You don't think
But we
Mooney
just
wants
got
to
done
go?
saying we don't know how much running he really did.
Well, we know he has enough speed. I'm not saying he can't be in front. I don't know if he can run it all anymore. I just don't. Listen, I've got him 2nd. I get it. By the way, I can't put this horse on top. I cannot put this horse on top at 3 or 4 to 1 in this race. Could he win? Of course he could win. No question about it.
I mean, the problem here is they're either coming off wins against suspect bunches of horses.
Open Lengths was...
I mean, how bad was Open Lengths last time?
Atrocious. And as much as we respect Canterbury, he comes out of a good barn, but...
Comes from a barn that's tough to claim off of.
Did not claim this horse thinking he was coming back in an hours or 2 lifetime. And after the race was over, I bet he was thinking, please lose this shake. because
No question about who wants to. After that effort last time, he was 4 to 5.
He never got out of a gallop.
Never got out of
Kendrick
a gallop.
was in good position
And
with him.
Great
He was
position.
awful.
Great position.
Maybe he'll come back. He can certainly win this race, but he's a tough one to take. As far as Judge Alexander, do I particularly like him? No. I bet him
He's
last
going to be
time.
the best price of the horses that can win.
The other thing about him is, I feel like he's going to get the mile and an eighth. That's what I also thought. He's the biggest price. The 2, 3, 4, and 6 are the only horses. I mean, I have no idea what David's looking with it. Is Amistad really going to be 4 to 1? Get him mile and an eighth?
I tried him. I remember he was like my fuzzy last time.
He was
But
an awful 9 to 1.
He just
third because the field fell apart.
He picked up
behind
very
him.
little pieces. Yeah.
He could have been 12th and losing by 10 lengths.
I mean, that's the other thing. At the very least, first line's been the 9 furlongs. You know, I mean, you could, and I guess that's your biggest argument if you like open lengths. Look, I don't think either of us are looking to take a substantial stand in here.
No.
But at the very least, first line's been the 9 furlongs. Open lengths has been the 9 furlongs.
I feel like Judge Alexander looks like he shouldn't have any problem running all day. I don't love this horse by any stretch of the imagination. I just decided to take the biggest price, the horses that I thought could win at the end of the day.
I don't blame you.
I can't pick Social Group. I can't pick First Line. And I can't pick the 4 open lengths, all of whom could win. Should we take a break?
Yeah, I think we should.
We'll be right
pick
back.
4.
Late pick 4. Hang around.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Jose's very pumped up today.
I thought we had David, and I keep getting stuck with Jose in my ear.
Jose
told me that David was doing it, and now I just keep hearing Jose. He's a tease.
Jose's pumped up. He's on a bit today.
Thank God.
He's on the bit today.
See, he's mad now.
Right. Yeah. Well,
he gets very sensitive.
You know, Andy, we've been dealing with us Queens folks. Have been dealing with snow. You know, we don't just sit in our ivory tower and just let everybody else do the stuff.
Naja's very upset about you being mad at Kate Upton. I think
he
he wants to get in the middle and fix it up.
Naj thought you knew who Cardi B was yesterday.
I do know who Cardi B is.
I'd have lost. That's the second bet I would have lost today.
It's not like she's not. I mean, I'm not that out of it. I don't know people on these ridiculous, like, reality shows. You know, I don't know that nonsense.
The first thing I think of when I think of Cardi B is ridiculous. So.
Well, I know a lot. Most of my friends are ridiculous. What's the ridiculous?
You know what? Second time today, you make a great point.
So let's start race 5 by talking about Sunny Ridge that only a lunatic like you would put on top.
Yes.
Wow.
Listen.
I thought even Anthony was smart enough not to put Sunny Ridge on top. This is him last time in the toboggan, finishing a close third to Mind Control. You're really going to take a horse going from Jason Service to John Kimmel?
Last time,
even
by
John
the way.
Kimmel thinks you're out of your mind.
Just by the way, last time, January 18th of 2020.
Yeah.
So we're looking at about a 54-week break.
Why would you take this
for
horse
Sunny
here?
Ridge? So there's David. You got
Thank
your
God.
wish.
Jose
All right.
guy's been driving
So
the
here
race
we
for
go.
years. See how well he's doing?
So
Looks like a pro already.
can I speak?
No. Please.
If Sunny Ridge
Pontificate.
gets his setup, which I think he's going to get today, and I'm handicapping this race, looking at this as just a trainer change. Okay.
Because trainers mean nothing to
I'm
you.
going to do it.
Trainers mean nothing to you.
Listen,
Your
just hear
entire
me
handicapping
out
premise is
hear me
based on
out
trainers.
for a second. If I'm going to look at it strictly on trainer changes, as a trainer change, without all of the bells and whistles that go with the Jason Service trainer change.
You mean the trainer that formerly trained him that's not allowed to train horses because he's under indictment,
Okay.
federal indictment for using performance-enhancing drugs? That guy.
Now, would you say that Sunny Ridge is in a percentage of horses that could very well be?
Yes. I've had an opinion on that guy, as you well know, for a long time.
Okay, but my
so
question.
nothing about it. I don't trust any performance by any horse he ever
so
trained.
you don't think the good horses, you don't think the horses that have earned $1.4 million in their careers can just be talented enough
Coming
to
back a
compete
year
without
plus
them?
off that? No. It took this guy over a
Okay.
year to get this horse back to the races.
You know, John Kimmel is not an idiot. John Kimmel's as sharp a guy back there as we have.
He is?
So,
He's got a high win percentage? I mean, come on. I like John too. I think he's a good trainer, but
he
what
don't
are
win
you
at
talking
30%,
about?
but most people don't.
By the way, right. That's the point, Anthony. The other guy was cheating.
I don't disagree. Of course he was cheating, but
So
my
I don't
point to
care if
you
the guy's
is...
a good trainer, and I know you like to compliment all these guys. It's got nothing to do with John Kimmel. I wouldn't care who it was.
Right, but you see, and I think that is where...
Big Todd Fletcher wanted this horse? Big Chad Brown wanted this horse?
This is where making the generalisms is not good when it comes
Really?
to this. Because this isn't a horse that's
So you've
eligible
decided that this one is okay going away from Jason Service based on
his
which data?
his ability. If he just had this magic potion, they'd all be millionaires. They're obviously not all millionaires.
No,
this
all
horse
horses are
has
different.
talent.
All horses are different, but some, they have a certain amount of ability, and that ability is enhanced. My mom is not watching Talking Horses. She's calling me on the phone.
I had a scam call me. Listen, we look at it a little differently. I'm with you.
So
95%.
you trust all those Jason Service horses? 'Cause
No,
they've
I
done
just said
very
that.
well.
I just said to you, the horses that have ability, and this horse is in the 1% of the horses that I would trust.
Good luck to you.
He is. He's the. And
So you
listen,
think he's a good bet around 5-2 or 3-1?
listen.
I'm
Here's
third.
what I'm saying.
I won't fall out of my chair if he wins. I think he's a horrendous pick.
I think there's some speed in here. I think the year is in all likelihood going to help him. I do. I think the year is going to help him. He probably couldn't run for the first 3 or 4 months.
How much would you like to hear the conversation Anthony and I are going to have after the race? First of all, there isn't that much speed in here. The pace is never fast around here. You live in under some sort of illusion that paces are quick around here.
Mad Money's has to go.
Well, the 2 is the speed.
The
The question
2's
is
gotta
how
go.
aggressive Jorge Vargas is. We'll see.
What?
There's never paces around here.
It's the best race he ever ran on
Do
a
you
fast track
understand
last
how
time.
many times we have had this conversation and you have been wrong?
You're not- listen.
98% of the time.
What are you going to do with Todd Weege? Now, I know he's not fast enough, but his races
What's he gonna
are
do?
when he's up on the pace.
Yeah, he'll be sitting third. I get it.
I just think it'll be crowded on the front end, and I think if this horse shows up with his race, and I think he has a race in him without help.
Really?
I think
Where was it?
He's won he's won in enough places and taken his act on the road enough.
Okay, but the drugs go on the road too, right?
They do, but
Okay, but that's what the indictment seemed to indicate. There was one at Monmouth.
I think it was pretty
There was
apparent.
conversation
But
down in
I think it was
Florida.
pretty apparent.
We saw some insanity
Hold
in
on.
New York.
But I think it was pretty apparent. They worked a whole lot better outside of the Big Apple.
I think we're in completely different places.
We are.
Doesn't make you wrong. I picked him third. I won't be shocked.
And
if he's
more often than not,
effective,
I'm taking your
but I
side in
don't-
this argument.
I
But
don't
this
know
horse
why
is a
to-
talented horse. This horse is a stakes winner. He's earned almost $1.5 million.
Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Good luck to him. As far as Mad Money, as you mentioned, will show his last race. It's a very good ride by Jorge Vargas. But the truth of it was, this was a day where every race was basically dominated by horses that were forward in here. Horses had a basic inability to close that day.
Yeah.
And I think that enhanced his performance quite a bit.
Everybody was kind of spinning their wheels behind him. And he, Vargas, who has been aggressive, slow start. He's had a heck of a last 5 or 6 weeks, and he's had most of his success by being aggressive. Kind of the thing, though, in here where don't you have to feel if it ain't broke, don't fix it? The last 2 times this horse won, he was on the front end. The time he got beat, his other good race was when he was on the front end. So I would think you have to try for the lead in here. And I know, the 2, Rock on Luke's the one in his way.
Yeah, they'll probably go. I don't think he has much chance in here, but they'll probably go. I think his last race is totally dressed up by the circumstance. Doesn't mean he can't win, but I just think it's dressed up by circumstance.
I'm not saying I don't like him to win, but I think he has to be part of the pace. I mean, it's become apparent now.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I no argument from you. So who's really going to be favored? Is it going to be Dreams Untold off his huge win last time?
I thought
He's got some back races that are pretty good.
Yeah, I
Alpine.
kind of thought Todd Weege would be favored coming
I think
up.
it'll be very close to him and Taj Weeds. We'll look at Taj Weeds winning back in September at Gulfstream in the slop. The reason I like Taj Weed, and this is normally not, David Aragona texted me and he said, I can't believe you picked Taj Weed. He's not your kind of horse, and he's right. I don't trust him. Todd's only run him down in Florida. Is he really going to bring his act up here? I thought he was chasing wide last time in a day. He really wanted to be on the rail. David thought it was more of a speed track. I don't totally agree with him. I think it was more of an inside track, but I do think he was compromised last time, and that's what really hurt his chances. I'm not sold on him either, and I understand why he took the 5, because I don't trust Dreams Untold either. If he repeats his last race, probably going to win, but I don't trust him. A lot of not trust in here, but I don't trust the 5 either. So
I'm not saying
it's a dangerous race.
I'm not saying I completely trust him, but as far as horse flesh goes, I'm fairly certain he's the most talented horse going out there. Whether he can do it without the supposed help, we'll find out today.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is a tricky race. I mean, it's hard to make Rock on Luke. Nobody else would really shock me in here.
Mad Money's would shock me.
He would surprise me, but he wouldn't shock. One thing you have to say about him, he's in good form. He was out by the racetrack last time, but he's in good form, and he did it in New York.
He's the kind of horse
Nobody
too
else in
where
here won a race in New York recently.
He's the kind of horse too where the presence of one other. If there's no Rock on Luke in here, I would have taken a long look at Mad Money's, but the fact that they're in here, they kind of cancel each other out for me.
Race number 6 is a bring back from the cancellation. Was that a week ago? Just a week ago. Just 6 days
Tomorrow,
ago.
yeah.
6 days. Wow.
Tomorrow.
Feels like it was.
6 days ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel longer?
No.
Really?
Because I still worked. I still had radio.
No, nobody works harder than you, except for Nosferatu. We'll take a look at.
He has to watch us both.
Montauk Daddy.
And Claude's not here. And Claude.
Montauk Daddy, who we both have third. Is he the worst to beat, or did he just beat up on a bad field? And was the racetrack in his favor a little bit?
I think because of everything you just said, I think we kind of answered the question, right? That's not Montauk Daddy, by the way. That's Montauk Daddy on the lead, going wire to wire. Yeah, Double Shot came back with a big effort, and
He did, but the other thing about Double Shot is there's an argument, and Rob Atras, he's also 5 for 9 in sprints in this, so they do come back and win. And probably quite some of them are in these conditions, moving up in conditions. Double Shot improved his figure 13 points. Double Shot may have been compromised by the track that day being very kind to speed runners, and maybe he came back on a more fair track, and that's why he ran such a big number. I don't know. I'm not going to be surprised when this horse wins back. I just feel like he's beating a significantly tougher field.
as do I. As do I. And I could have went any one of...
You can go to this or somebody. Take
Yeah.
a look at this replay. David, Anthony's picked somebody. Go ahead.
I could have went any one of 3 ways in here. Somebody's kind of by appointment only now, only 4 races since February 1st. It'll be his 4th race since February of last year. He showed up here. Do I love what he was facing this day? No. I'm hoping he gets a similar setup in here with Montauk Daddy and New Frontier, kind of mixing it up. The extra half furlong. He's getting an extra. He's cutting back a half furlong. Montauk Daddy's gonna have to negotiate an extra half furlong. This was a spread race for me. I thought this is where I took one out of your book. I thought he'd be the best price of the 4 horses who I think can win this race. So I took him. And at the very least, you look at these starter allowance races, right? Jake Rocks has only won once. Knockout Punch has only won once. Yeah, Financial Stability won twice, but that was for Chad Brown. Mucho Trouble's won twice. This horse has won 3 times. And I think that holds a little weight in these races.
Okay, I won't be shocked if he wins. He's got the highest fig of anybody. I'm not sure it'll be 9-2. He was 20-1 last time. Microscope did come back with a big win in the slop. Overall, I think horses have disappointed out of that race going forward. I don't know. I'm skeptical of him, but I hear what you're saying. He can obviously win this race. His last race is fast enough to win. As far as Much Trouble and Jake Rocks, they were both wide last time. He was 4 wide, Jake Rocks. He was outside. He and Jake Rocks both 4 wide. He went outside him in the stretch. That was a day the inside was very much the place to be, and they were running against better horses. And I thought he ran well enough in his return race that second off a layoff, he could run better. He's got some back races that are good. Can he refine them? I don't know, but I thought he ran well enough against the grain of the track to win. I thought both he and Jake Rocks could win this race. I kind of wanted them. I thought they may have been coming out of the toughest race overall. I think Sneakiest is in good form, and they were both against the track, so I'll focus in on them. The other 2 wouldn't surprise me. I'd use them. B's or C's or somewhere in my pick 5. They seem to be somewhat logical.
Fair enough.
Nothing really strong in there, but I was hoping the horse could improve second off a layoff. Race number 7 gave me a lot of trouble. And ultimately I copped out and we'll look at Instinctive Rhythm winning and took charge running third in there. You know what? I just think he might be better than these horses.
You took Instinctive Rhythm, correct?
Yeah. I don't. I just decided that there was nobody in here I wanted to step up. And here's a problem with Took Charge. There's two. He was inside, but a little off the rail. Morning Breeze was right on the rail. He barely beat Morning Breeze, and the rail was dead this day. Now, I know he was coming off a layoff, but here's a stat I found. I didn't put it up. Do you know that...
You did put it up.
I did. Second, I like this in the new formula of the stat. Second off a returning.
It's terrible.
And this is like a stat that I thought was really interesting because you would think these horses rate to move forward, and they're not. And I don't make my picks based solely on stats by any stretch. I was influenced by this one because I did think about taking him, but I also thought about the fact that Morning Breeze came up the rail and he barely finished ahead of him. And he was off a layoff, but that stat says they don't improve. In fact, they take a step back.
Yeah.
That worried me.
Okay.
I mean, I get your logic in picking them, but I worry about it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm just thinking of more first start in 10.5 months. Thought he ran well enough with the first start in 10.5 months. Now he comes back. I'm going to assume by then it's going to be a dry track again. Not that he ran poorly last time. He'll be outside of Foolish Ghost. He should have a nice little target.
Well, but the thing is, you've got...
And that's it.
But you say that about the target. How confident are we this guy wants to rate? He's on the pace every single time he runs.
I don't know if he's going to have a choice. I just think Foolish Ghost is faster than him.
I agree. No, I totally agree with you. I don't know how he can make the lead in this race unless the 2 and 3 get left of the gate. So now you're asking him to rate. He's a square enough price. I get it. Originally, I really wanted to pick this horse. But I kept looking more and more and thinking, certainly not getting the lead from Foolish Ghost. The stat bothered me. Rejecting again is going to be in front of him, I would think, too. I'm concerned about him.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do something he hasn't done yet. But I thought his first 2 races, I thought he was going to be a-okay.
No, I don't disagree with you.
And then they ran him long because he's a 3-year-old, and it's it's that time of year, and you run them long, and that's what you do. And then he cut back, and I thought he ran okay off the break last time.
The other concern, though, is he was second in a 4-horse field that got a big figure. Did Hopeful Treasure really run back to that number?
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
that was a weird race. I agree with you. Listen, I was going to pick this horse, so I'm not.
He got a fast figure against 3 Technique back in June, though.
I got him second. I'm going to use him. I have concerns about him. See, I don't like. See, I'm worried about Foolish Ghost wiring the field. Is the speed, cutting back to 6 furlongs? I don't like Gemography. I haven't liked this horse, and he's proven me wrong 2 straight times. He keeps getting very good trips.
But didn't you just give him, Foolish Ghost and rejected again? I'll probably be in front of Took Charge.
He can't beat Instinctive Rhythm unless that horse completely fails to show up. He can't. He's not as good as that. That horse is just better than he is. I mean, come on, Money Ride. He's just better than him. I mean, the sound may not be as good as his 107 Buyer, but he's every bit as good as the 85 figure he ran when he beat this horse, or 86
yeah,
Fig.
Fair enough.
So I just think this horse is better.
I think he's going to be favored, Andy.
He should be favored. No, I'm not. I get it. Believe me, I didn't run to pick this horse.
He can absolutely win. He can, like you said, I mean, I think the thing you really need to be worried about and again, we're talking about trying to make money. You're going to get Foolish Ghost at 7 or 8 to 1 in here.
Oh, he's on my tickets.
He has to be.
He's on my tickets.
There's no way he's not. How can he not be?
Didn't Inscombe get very fortunate when he was running well last year?
Yes.
Yeah. He had some pretty good trips. But, I mean, come on.
They went to try him in the turf sprint, and it got rained off, and he ran okay enough that when the winter came, it was like, all right, well, we can keep him around here, and he ran 2 good races.
Thankfully, he didn't run as well as Analyze This and That when that horse beat him, and I think I bet him at a big price that day. But you're right.
You know what I mean? It was kind of like by accident. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, oh, well, you know what? This horse will be useful here this winter. Prioritize turned into an allowance type.
Drowned family bids.
Yeah, they were the 2. They came out of the race. They had both been almost exclusively on turf.
I won't be
And
shocked.
they both started running under Prioritize. Was third? Did he finish 3rd in Woodward? Behind global campaign in Tacitus?
Feels like it.
I think he did.
So
So
like the 50 path all the way around the track.
Yeah.
Rob Atras was worth 250 days plus in the dirt. He's 1 for 7. 4 hit the board, though. They ran okay. It was a low ROI, but it's such a tiny sample, it's hard to say. You don't think of Rob too often with these big layoffs, you know?
Right. No.
But, I mean, I wouldn't say he has no chance.
No, it's going to be kind of hard for him to find a trip, right? Because you got to figure coming off the layoff, he's going to be a little fresh, and he's going to want to be a part of a pace that
He's not fast enough to
couldn't-
beat Orr in this
no,
race.
No, he's not fast enough. So
Right. He's
Well,
got to run against the grain the way he wants to run against a layup.
He's got a big look of chasing here, getting tired at the quarter pole, and taking him back, going a flat mile next
But
time
let me
out.
say something else. Rob doesn't come back and run him for a quarter. He runs him in a tough start coming back.
Sure does.
And he's risking, by doing this, he's risking the horse running horribly, and then when he runs him for a quarter, he can't get him claimed.
Kind of, you know what though?
He's not a dumb guy,
That
Rob.
kind of doesn't matter around here, because people will look at the year layoff. They'll see he ran for a half mile, and then whatever he runs it for, they would take him.
Anthony, it always matters. All these things are relevant.
I don't say
They're all relevant.
When it comes to
the point is
they
that Rob
claim
could have
some
dropped this horse in for a
strange
quarter.
horses
and
around
still,
here.
I understand that, but Rob could have run him for a quarter
Yeah.
and almost definitely lost him, and maybe even won.
Not eligible for a waiver because he ran for the starter last time. So there's not
Is
a
that right?
waiver. There's not a
how that works?
he didn't run for a tag.
Oh, it's based on the last start?
It's based on the last start. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was any amount you've run
no,
for.
what you last ran for.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Of course, I knew every
The
day.
waiver thing's been around in Jersey and
No, I know.
for a while.
It's hard to-
I think it's fantastic. I mean, for guys and gals around here to
very
put all
fair.
their money and their hard work into these horses and getting them back, and then you want to run the horse where they can win, and you run the horse back where they belong. And you're like, well,
Try to be on your best behavior. Claude is back in the room, okay? Try to step your game
I love
up
the
a little
waiver claim. Yeah, this horse.
Can you figure it out at Oakland?
For your last. Well, they have different rules with the meet, and if horses ran at the meet last year, that's my problem with the rule. I think that's another. This gets into a much bigger conversation. 6 months, unless you have something like we had with the COVID. 6 months, whatever, within 10% of what the tag was last time, have at it.
What do you think about? See, I think we should have stricter rules in Saratoga for trainers that don't run in New York that only come to Saratoga and they claim some of the horses they should
I'd
have
like
to
a
leave in
90.
New York.
I think a 90-day
days.
rule would be good
I agree.
because if you go
From
up
the
there,
end of the meet.
you go up there and you claim a horse on August 15th. You don't even have to run the horse back at the meet. You just take the horse away.
It's hard.
I would have no problem
I mean,
with-
it's hard because you want people to feel like it's a free trade thing, but you do have to protect your population. It's an interesting discussion, I think.
Yeah, 60-day or a 90-day rule, I don't think would be better. At least you're getting a couple of starts out of them. A 60-day rule, you're getting a couple of starts.
And an
90-day rule,
opportunity
you
for
might be
somebody to
getting
claim
4.
them here and keep them here. Because I look, and now listen, there are horses running here that used to run in other jurisdictions, so it
course.
works both ways. But I'm looking
But
at
it
those
doesn't. It's
Oakland
not
races.
an equal. It's not an equal.
Right. When I look at Oakland, I
It's
say,
aqueduct.
oh,
It's not.
that's
It's,
where our friends went.
Yeah.
You know, you see
Yeah.
a lot of names there that are awfully familiar, and it's I'm not doing anything wrong.
No.
It's just it's
It's
part of
another.
the
It's
game.
also another aspect of how the claiming game, overall.
So I
has
struggle with the
changed.
last race. Is this horse Brew Pub finishing second going to be favored in this race, or is the Full Moon Fever, my brother Neil group, going to be favored? I will say with Brew Pub, he's a hanger. The horse in the rail should have won this race. First of all, he took pressure from a ridiculous horse the whole way. The first-time starter and didn't succumb to the late stage. The last couple strides. The winner was unbelievably lucky. But I got to say, it's almost like Brew Pub's also one of these horses that was just hanging, and they hit the wire, and the other horse went by, and he said, "Okay, he went by. I'll win the head bob." He's got some hang in him, this guy. But he can win.
He can win, but he's had. And I
Ample
liked him last
chances.
night. He's had too many chances for me
I
now.
know.
And that last one leaves
Should've
a
won
bad
last time.
taste. Because the truth of the matter is, it's gravy.
He
Was as fortunate a winner as you're going to find all
yeah.
winter, and he didn't want to go by those horses.
No.
He just grinded his way by those horses. And one horse.
BC Glory Days would have won by
Well,
2
BC
lengths, and
Glory-
the other horse, ridiculous horse, didn't
BC
push him
Glory Days
there.
would have won in a common gallop.
Right.
Yeah, so
He was a first-time starter.
yeah, who they? Some money came in. He was kind of a little bit of a wise
that
guy horse, and he got.
I picked him.
He ran well. He ran well.
I just think Full Moon Fever, maybe getting back to a fast track. His race 2 back. We'll see. That's a funny race, but he blew. See, the thing is, he blew Brew Pub off the racetrack that day. Are they really going to be the same price? See, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
That's my thing with him. I don't love him. But I wonder if that race with the money track may have affected him a little bit. He go back. His race 2 back was good.
Race 2 back was very good.
So you don't have
Very good.
You don't like him at all.
No, I got him third.
Why do you have Bingo John?
I don't know what to do. I thought Bingo John was going to benefit from the stretch out. I don't know. His first race kind of ran like a horse that not only needed a race, but a horse that really wasn't. He didn't do anything
Really?
that. Yeah, he didn't look like a sprinter to me. He looked like a horse that was going to want
He
to
lost
go
ground
long.
the race though.
Yeah. And you got to understand, Andy, the one thing about when these horses start to draw away at the end, and these horses run first time out, they're going to get a little tired. He caught a sloppy track. I thought this
Is he
horse was
going to be
going to get.
overbet because of the connections though?
You know what though? I thought about that.
He can win. I'm not saying
I thought
he can,
about that, right? But Full Moon Fever has to take money. Brew Pub always takes money. I would imagine a Todd Pletcher first is going to take some money, and I was going to imagine a Chad Brown first is going to
So
take
where
some
are you
money.
on the what's your thinking?
I like the fact that I like this horse's pedigree to debut with the mile first time. I think he's running against some horses that I don't know. I've kind of seen
This
enough.
horse's pedigree.
Brew
This
Pub.
horse's dam side is really weak, Anthony.
I'm talking about on paper as far as getting the mile first time out. And the other thing is this. The barn has been just on fire up here. And they're picking their spots.
But they're very logical horses.
They're very logical. And I don't, that barn wins, Chad Brown wins races because he puts his horses in logical spots.
And he's a good trainer with good horses.
Well, yeah, but
you're right.
there are plenty of guys and gals here that know what they're doing, that put their horses in spots they don't belong. This horse, I like the fact that he didn't, quote unquote, it's like when you use some baseball, like when you waste a pitch when you're up 0-2. And I like the fact that he didn't waste a sprint in his horse. He's running this horse a mile first time out.
Well, that's
and he's
usually
going
a
to be
negative.
a square enough price.
But here's my question: why have this horse on top and not have Todd anywhere? Why choose this one and not Todd at all? Aren't they sort of on equal ground?
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you
I guess.
at least have Todd third or something?
Yeah, I guess I could have done that.
I mean, I think if you're going to have one in your play,
I guess I could have done that.
I'm not saying you can't win. I'm not saying Todd can't win. I'm saying I'll give you an argument for street culture, and I know nothing about it. If you're sequel racing, you can give your horses to a lot of people. Some of them don't charge as much as Chad Brown charges. You're going to give a horse to this guy if you don't think the horse can run a little bit? My guess is they go to Chad Brown with a horse. There's a good chance that they think the horse can run a little bit. Now, listen, as we know, the racetrack is full of people who have horses that they think can run that can't run. But I'm going to think that if they went to Chad with this horse, they wouldn't send him some bad horse. They wouldn't waste their money and time sending a bad horse to Chad Brown. The other thing is, if he's a bad horse, next time they come to him, he may say...
Right. Hey, guys. Well, I didn't do as deep a dive as you probably did on the pedigree. I took a little look.
The pedigree's awful.
On the
damn side.
Okay, but hold on.
Atrocious.
Right. But on paper, if you don't go on and do your pedigree work on paper, this is an attractive pedigree.
On paper, a lot of things look true in racing that are completely untrue. That's why you do the work.
You
do the work to find out. Now,
I
that doesn't
understand that.
There's plenty of horrible pedigree horses that win great stakes.
Win big races.
And there's plenty of blue brood mares that people are paying a lot of money for that couldn't produce a horse to beat you and I. It's funny. Chad won with that horse at Tampa the other day for Juddmonte. Won easy, a first-time starter. The dam was that really good horse.
Nebraska Tornado?
Yes, she won a couple of Group 1s. I think she won the Prix Diane, the French Oaks. She won the Prix de Milan against the boys. She ran the distaff, actually, in the dirt. And I was saying this to Chad after the race. She's the first talented-looking runner that the dam's ever produced. She's never produced anybody that could run. One was a jumper.
Wow.
Not that jumpers can't run.
I was just thinking of with the family. Is she related to Close Hatches at all? Is she a Rising Tornado?
Oh, maybe. Nebraska Tornado? Maybe. She could be. Anyhow, so listen, so looking up the pedigrees can be dangerous.
Yeah, of course.
I like to see, even if they're cheaper horses that could run a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe they were $15,000 flavors, but they ran some 70 by. They were effective. They had a longer career. They won some races. But listen, you'll see some. I'll tell you, you see some horses that sell for crazy prices.
We wound up having the horse together, not even talking about it, last winter at Gulfstream. You know this $30 horse? It was Luca Panici, two posts, all kinds of pedigree on the turf.
Oh, yeah,
and the horse was, the two dirt races were awful. The horse paid like $31.
That's what I used to win. I remember it was a long time ago.
It hasn't been. I was complaining to our man Frank Miramati the other night. I've had 4 out of 5 in so many of these sequences that one spread away from. I mean, the one thing, the Mad Money's was 62,000, and that's a. If I hit the all button, it's all me.
You could have been like Ralph Cram. When you had it, you went with it.
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah, I actually saw that episode recently.
It was on the. I think it was on during the New Year's Eve marathon.
Jackie Leeson is so incredible.
The best.
I love it.
I was watching The Hustler the other night. The Hustler
When he
was
says
on.
to him, "I can't beat you."
Can't beat you. Can't beat you, Fast Eddie.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great movie. It's a tragic movie, but it's a great movie.
They gave Newman the Oscar for The Color of Money to make up for that. They screwed him that year.
Could have given him the Oscar for a lot of movies.
Yeah, they gave it to him for The Color of Money.
Do you know that Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was the first non-G movie I saw as a kid?
Wow.
Yeah, such a great movie.
Fantastic.
And that's a movie that holds up.
It's the first movie
It's
they showed.
still
Alan Seeger, my professor at St. John's, it was the first movie he showed us in
Really?
the history of motion picture production.
It's a great movie.
Then that and then Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Really?
First 2. You'd have loved him. Oh, you and Alan Seeger would have been locked in his office for 4 days together.
The other first R-rated movie I saw as a kid, The French Connection. Great. It's amazing, though, that movie beat out The Last Picture Show and A Clockwork
One of my
Orange.
oldest friends, Frank LaCurtle, his grandfather was one of the actual detectives in The French
Really?
Connection. Yeah.
Interesting. Anyhow, you've had enough of us. We'll let you go. But you have to go to Naira Bets. Before we let you go,
Yes. You
you
gotta
have to
just
go
do
to
this
Naira Bets.
one
If you don't
little
go to
favor.
Naira Bets, we're going to continue to bore you with idiotic banter. Use the promo code MATCH200. Sign up. Give you a match up to $200 your initial deposit. Get in the game. Support racing. Keep the money in the game. It's important to play through AEWs that are racetrack oriented, and keep the money in New York by playing through Naira Bets. Do not siphon money out of a game that needs the money to continuously be reinvested. Also, the contests every weekend, $300 buy-in, all cash prizes. There are some bigger contests, a big one coming up for the Gotham, but for now, and that's of course a month away. This weekend's the Withers, and you have to be in by 5 o'clock tomorrow. Also, the mandatory payout continues every day, giving out 100% payout in that Empire 6. Get involved. Great way to play. The Empire 6, the late pick 5, all good. And Johnny I up next, the reprise, the scratches and changes. Have a great day. We'll see you later.
Good afternoon, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Aqueduct. Bright sunshine on this Thursday. The temperature right around 40 degrees. The main track is good, and it is harrowed. Not many changes to report on the Thursday card. In the first race, scratch number 5, Me and Sap, scratch the 5. Note that number 6, Not Far Now, runs with blinkers on. Blinkers on, number 6. In the second race, scratch 1 Playwright, part of an entry, and scratch the 5 This Cat Can Fly. Second race, scratch 1 and 5. No changes in the third. We now have an overweight in the fourth race today. In race 4, number 7, First Dawn, will be 4 pounds over, and there are no changes in races 5 through 8. Main track, Good and Harrowed. The Thursday opener at the Big A in 28 minutes at 1:20.
Be a part of the racing action Saturdays at Aqueduct with live money contests available online through Naira Bets. A $300 buy-in adds $200 to your contest account, while the other $100 funds the cash prize pool paid through 10th place. Follow along with the races on America's Day at the Races while keeping track of your leaderboard standings on Naira Bets. After the contest, your bankroll and prize winnings are shifted back into your Naira Bets account to start betting or withdraw. Register to play today at nairabets.com/contests.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com. Need help in finalizing your picks for the next race? Check out the Trackmaster selections provided by Equibase on every U.S. thoroughbred and harness track on Naira Bets. Use these selections to get quick expert advice from professionals in the business. Check out the thumbs up graphic next to the pick in the wager pad and scroll down for more details on the horse. Trackmaster selections available on Naira Bets and the Naira Bets app.
I think when people watch it on TV, they think that it's just a rich man's sport and there's nothing else involved. But when people actually come into this side of the sport and they see, and it puts a lot of dollars back into the industry in New York, and we need to protect that.
Working here, it's given me a life and a sense of security for not only myself financially, but also to provide for my family. Ideally, I would love to have my career here.
I'm a single mom. I was able to raise my son and put him through college, and something I'm very proud of, and I couldn't do it without New York Racing.
In the backstretch, there is a community that surrounds the racetrack. People that work day in, day out, loving what they are doing.
I mean, there's electricians, there's plumbers, there's carpenters. There's all these men and women who do jobs every day.
One horse requires a hot walker, a groomer, a person who's going to walk them to the races, the people who take care of them every day. And we need all these people to take care of the horses and to continue moving forward in New York racing.
This job has given me not only hope for tomorrow, but has made so many of my wishes come true.
We're really real people back here working our butts off to make this happen. It's a commitment. There's a lot of people back here that depend on this place.
I had the opportunity to go back to school thanks to the jobs provided for us here.
Our industry is vital within this state.
We are New York Racing.
We
are New York horse racing.
Jobs.
Opportunity.
Community.
We are New York racing.
We are New York horse racing.
We are New York racing.